The story is told of President Franklin Roosevelt, who often endured long receiving lines at the White House, and he complained that no one ever paid attention to what he was saying. So one day he decided during a reception he would try an experiment. To each person that walked by, shaking his hand, he murmured, "I murdered my grandmother this morning." And so a long line passed by, and the guests responded with phrases like, "Oh, wonderful to meet you, Mr. President," and "Oh, I appreciate you saying that," and "God bless you," and everything that I murdered my grandmother this morning. That's wonderful, Mr. President, thank you. So finally, as the reception line was almost at an end, the ambassador from Bolivia walked by. President Roosevelt again said, "I murdered my grandmother this morning." And the ambassador from Bolivia said, "Well, she must have deserved it, Mr. President." So one guy listened. So, we can listen but not listen, right? Are you listening? See, it's attention with intention. You ever watch a Charlie Brown Christmas? That's a great little show. One of the very few you see at Christmas that actually has a little bit of the gospel in it. And I showed it to my granddaughters this year, and they liked it so much we watched it 100 times. And so I pretty much memorized all of it. But the thing I like about a Charlie Brown Christmas is the kids talk to each other, but whenever there's an adult talking, they sound like this. Wah, 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 wah. They never say word wah, wah. I think that's how we listen sometimes. You sit in church, and in your mind right now what I'm saying is blah, 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 blah. And furthermore, blah, 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 blah. And one other thing, blah, 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 blah. And in closing, and your ears perk up. Oh, good. He's almost done. So here's what Jesus says. If you have ears to hear, listen to what I'm saying to you now. These are very important things to pay attention to. You decide what kind of soil your heart will be. God doesn't decide, you decide. And the way you decide is how you hear the Word of God. You're hearing the Word of God right now. You determine how you will react.